Hey Jake, this is John Mueller with Get on the Track. Just doing a quick review of your fastest lap from our session versus my fastest lap from the session. We just showed you, or I just had the video up that showed the comparison between our two laps in video format. I'm going to use the data here in order to be able to highlight how I gained a second on you and hopefully help you find that second in future times at Harris Hill. So with that said, just going to show you very quickly what we're seeing on the chart here. We are seeing our RPM, our acceleration position. So this is actually the position of the pedal. This doesn't, the ECU sometimes actually manipulates what's happening with the throttle plate itself. So this is an accurate representation of what's happening with your foot on that right pedal. Finally, we've got our GPS speed. Well, not finally. The final data field that we have is the GPS speed. And then here we have our time comparison. If you take a look at the left, we've got your fastest lap, which is a 129.244. Again, want to call out great performance there. Really happy to see you break 130s during our session. So on the blue lap, I've got the 128.279, so almost exactly a second faster than you. So we're going to do a quick breakdown on how I got there and how we can get you there as well. I am actually going to add one more data channel here. I'm going to use the lateral acceleration from the GPS. Just sometimes I think that this helps put things into perspective. Obviously it's relatively jagged, it's a little bit broken, but sometimes seeing the GPS gives us the G's rather gives us a good idea of how much speed we are carrying and how much more speed we have the potential to carry. So just want to go ahead and start our lap here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here on the map of the track. One thing to be aware of is I tell people this frequently. There's a little bit of skew with the GPS here. So this isn't going to be perfect. Obviously, there's going to be like there's some points here where it looks like we're on the grass. We're obviously not on the grass. It's just slightly skewed due to the GPS signal. So that said, we're just going to go ahead and dive into turn 1, 2, and 3. Big component here that I want to show you is the difference between our speeds. Again, I'm blue, you're red. As I come into turn 1 here, I've kind of been calling it out. This is really a faith corner. It's blind. We don't really know where we don't really have a clear picture of where we're going. We do know where we're going because we've been through that corner multiple times, but it's a little bit of a psychological thing here. I managed to do a light brake pressure here, bleed about 4 or 5 miles an hour. I think, sorry, call it 10, right? So, and I think actually we had a conversation at one point where we talked about that. You're actually entering slightly faster on your lap, which is great to see. I saw 100 miles an hour versus my 98 at the same point. And then from there, you see my brake pressure and my braking happens a little bit later. That's that blue trace there. And then I give up that brake pressure a little bit earlier as well and allow that car to just kind of coast through there. This is really a matter of confidence. I'm just feeling more confident in the grip of the car. I'm more comfortable with the grip of the car and what it's generating. And what we can see from that, right, is what's actually kind of interesting is the way that we don't unfortunately have steering angle. We do. So let's take a quick look. I lied. We have steering angle, so I'm throwing one more data point into it. If you take a look here, right, it's really telling and really interesting here. So your steering angle peaks higher than I do, which what that means is you dial in more steering input than I do at the peak, and your turn in is a little bit it's a little bit more abrupt, whereas mine's more gradual, right? I turn in maybe a little bit earlier than you do. We both actually, no, I mean, we're seeing the steering angle ramp up, but I'm more consistent with my ramp up. And then yours, there's a little delay here and then a quicker turn in. And what that does is if we take a look at the G forces, I increased my G forces earlier in the corner. and then yours peaks a little bit higher than mine. Both of them are peaking around 1G. You actually go a little bit over 1G, which is fine. We're getting some compression there, and I'm not surprised by that. But the big thing here is this is a big thing about smooth is fast, right? Like again, getting you to relax, getting you to be smoother, more comfortable, is going to allow you to carry some more speed through that turn one section. The other thing that we're going to see as well is take a look at the differences between our acceleration curve. I want to commend you on getting on the throttle here as we come through there, seeing that throttle pressure get up to almost 100%, which frankly 100% it sometimes the reading is a little bit off as well. So you could be flat on the floor right here, and it's just not quite reading 100%. The difference is here is I go to the throttle a little bit earlier and with a little bit more confidence. Keep in mind, right? Like as I mentioned before, I wasn't running a 10-10 slap in your car. If I was, our throttle traces would probably overlap. Like we would see me going to 100% here at the same time. But what I see here is that I start going to the throttle confidently even before that apex, right? So you're getting a little bit closer to the apex before you go to the throttle in turn one. All we're doing in turn one is just using the brake pressure to get enough grip on the front end to make sure we're going to hit that turn. So just kind of think about that the next time you're out there. Obviously, don't try to attack it with an extra 10 miles an hour, but start building that confidence and that speed through turn one that the car is going to grip. And again, if you need it, use the right-hand side of that track. Typically, when we run through there, we're only about 2/3 to the right side of that track. If the car doesn't feel like it's gripping up for you enough, if it doesn't feel like it's going to hold, let that car run a little wider, use a little bit more of that pavement, and then go back to it and see how you make out. All right. And again, we see a pretty big jump there, right? If we take a look at the comparison, the time comparison here, that's where I get 1/3 of a second on you, right? So from there, the entry into turn two, again, I wasn't running quite as hard as I could. And so I kind of softballed it in a little bit into turn two. But what we see is we see a little bit of a swap here. So you're carrying more speed into the entry, which honestly I give you credit for. This is a good trace here. Really, really solid run. And then coming down the side straightaway there, we see that our speeds are very similar, right? Like I might be gaining a little bit of time on you through here, but it's nothing significant. So if you can combine my entry into turn one here with your execution of turn two, you're going to be in really good shape and you're going to gain some significant time. Going into turn four, what we see here, again, I was softballing it a little bit, so I don't quite hit the peak speed that you hit. You hit 106, but as we come through here, there's not a significant amount of change in our pace here. You're honestly running a little bit faster than me, which I enjoy seeing. That's a good thing. We just see we're kind of trading time here. The one thing though, right, is we do see my time drop as I exit turn five. The big thing here is I want to see you carrying a little bit more patience on the throttle. If you take a look here, right, specifically take a look right here on the blue and the red lines under the accelerator position. We see I start feeding that throttle in earlier than you do, but I'm very patient with the application, right? So your application is it's almost it's too aggressive here. You hammer that throttle very quickly versus I'm applying it slowly, and we can see that in the time comparison, it starts to drop. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to carry just a little bit more speed than you as I exit that turn, as I exit onto the back straightaway there. Going through here, pretty similar between the two of us. The one thing that I do differently here is that you see I'm carrying a little bit more confidence on the throttle going through turn six, right? You see you drop out here, you're down to 30% throttle as we come through, whereas I'm keeping it at 50%, maybe a little bit higher. I do believe you can go through this flat out. It just takes some time to gain some significant confidence in that. I wasn't doing it in this case. Again, I just wanted to demonstrate. I think we were running a 132 at the time, and so I just wanted to demonstrate something that was 4 to 5 seconds faster than you. So that said, we're watching it run through here. Going into turn 7. Again, this is kind of interesting. I think if we take a look at the speed trace here, your braking is a little bit softer than me. So this is a slow in, fast out. I'm slowing down a little bit more than you coming into turn 7. And so what we see is we see the time comparison. You catch up to me on the entry to turn 7, but then I rapidly pull away from you in turn 7. And it's honestly the turn 7 to turn 10 where I make up most of my time on you. And you can see that massive drop from here to here. And that honestly just boils down to my confidence on the throttle as we go through a lot of these sections, and also being relatively smooth with my turn in coming into the dam turn or turn 8. If you take a look at my line here, my turn in is slightly it's not more abrupt, but I carry a slightly tighter line coming through here, and that allows me to take advantage of the grip and the elevation and kind of the camber of the track there. Being a little bit wider where you are there, I feel has less grip, and so I'm just carrying a slightly tighter line, turning in a little bit more, a little bit earlier, and then also letting the car track out all the way on the exit of 8. That's allowing me to start building some significant speed on you as we come through there. So if you take a look at my mid-corner speed going through turn 8, it's significantly higher than you. I've got 6 miles an hour on you through most of that turn 8. Then we see you pick up a little bit on the exit there. And then we see that I start applying that throttle and I'm staying on that throttle. If you take a look at the throttle chart right here, it looks like you grabbed a shift in there. And I actually was running slightly lower RPMs than you. So you grabbed a shift in there, and instead I just let it run, and I'm keeping it at full throttle through that whole section there. And then we see again the time keeps dropping. The reason it's dropping is because I'm carrying 3 to 4 more miles an hour than you, 5, all the way through that turn 9 section. The one thing I will say about turn 9, as you're coming through it, if you look in the video, the coming through and coming across the apex of turn 9, try when you get to that, when you get down to the apex of turn 9, so that cone on the right hand side, try moving the car slightly left and start aggressively, and aggressively may be the wrong term. Let's say actively moving the car out towards the track out point for turn 9 that's out there on that left hand side. What's happening to a certain extent is you're getting a little bit nervous about the way the car is handling the bumps that are in there. And so if you give the car a little bit more room, say start pulling away 4 to 5 feet away from the edge of the grass as you're starting to head towards that track out point, you're going to end up on smoother pavement. The car is going to feel more stable, and it'll give you more confidence to carry good speed through there. Again, this is a fun point to call out. This is turn 9 is a extremely high speed corner, and so it's very intimidating. But when we look at the actual G figures that we're pulling through there, they were relatively low. Like we're seeing peaks in the 1.0 zone, but for most of it, and that honestly might be the bumps causing that, but for most of it, we're pulling like 0.8 to 0.7 to 0.8 Gs coming through that corner, right? Like honestly, that's nothing relative to what we do in other places. At turn 10, we're peaking out at over a G, right? You got 1.26 there, 1.07. So as intimidating as it feels going through this corner, we still have grip to spare here. And that's still, it's room where we can continue to carry speed, build speed, get faster, and find time there. If I was trying to target like that 126 range, you would definitely see me carrying more G's through this corner and carrying more speed. So just good point for you to focus on, good thing for you to think about. From there, right, if we take a look at it, there's not too much going on in turn 10. I saw from the video, I saw some really good lines coming through there. One thing, just always as a reminder, and again, this skew I think is screwing things up. We weren't going on the grass here, but I think both of us were doing a very good job of getting out to that turn-in cone and then bringing the car back and pulling it down to that apex. The videos looked really good for you, and it was a really nice lap. Right. It's if you take a look, right, I gained a little bit of time on you. Separation here, right, is like 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour. It's nothing on the order of some of the other areas here where we were saying, 5, 6 miles an hour and higher. So big thing is, right, focus on, if anything, what I would focus on is turn 8, turn 9. I think that's the place, those are the places where gaining confidence in carrying the throttle, carrying that corner speed is going to get you a significant amount of gains in lap times and also that turn one entry. Again, just remember to build up slowly. You're going to get there, and really great working with you, and can't wait to hear what you run on your next session out there.